Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Nelly, and I think I'm a very common person here on YouTube. Not so common, but a frequent visitor here on my stream. Okay, there's a problem with StreamYard today, but let's hope we can make it. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nelly, and I am a YouTuber who currently lives in Finland, and originally my country of origin is Kenya. So today I wanted to share with you guys some of the ways in which I think this place has changed me, and that is when I say this place, I mean Finland. Some of the ways that Finland have changed me as a person, as a mother, as an individual, and my lifestyle since moving here. So, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Nelly, and I do videos on lifestyle, motherhood, and life, including being a student, because that's where we are right now. Yeah, so please tell me where you're watching from and who you are. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much for that, Daisy. Thank you for being here as well. Really appreciate you. Today we're going to have to deal with some noise in the background as well. The kids are back home, but if I don't make it now, I probably might not make it during the day, like because I have to go to the gym and then tend to the little one. So now I have time because their dad is here. Anyway, yeah, so nice to meet you. How was your day? Please, let's just start by knowing how was your day. I personally had exams. For the better part of the morning. Actually, the whole morning I was doing exams, and I finished, and then I came home, and then went to the restaurant, and then had some coffee. Kahve in Finland, we say kahve. Had some coffee, and then came back home, had a good rest, and then I'm here. So how are you guys doing? How was your day? Let me know if you're having it rough, a rough day. If you're having an easy day, if you're having a fantastic day, let me know. Hey Richie, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your presence here today. Asante sana kwa kuja. Uh, Makes me remember the song. Asanteni kwa kuja. Thanks for coming, something like that. Yeah, but thank you so much for being here. I can see we already 4 people. Thank you so very much. So like I was saying before, home is Kenya, and I live in Finland, and clearly this is um I think as much as I've been here for 2 years, this is still really new. Hey Nya guys, thank you so much for being here, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your presence as well. Um, yeah, but like I was saying, this is my second home, and it's also home, but it's taken moments, it's taken patience, it's taken learning me up. And what's happening with StreamYard? Is it my internet? I don't know what's happening. Yeah, so like I was saying, this is my second home. Seems like now it's stronger. This is my second home. It's taken learning, relearning, and learning and relearning and learning and relearning. And I feel like that's the process of life naturally, because we all just have to learn new things and try new things and do some of the things we used to know and carry some forward to where we are at the moment. And it's just the journey of life. But I was thinking, and I've been thinking, like, having done the what is it called? Having done the integration and finished my integration process. Now in my second home, in a place where I'm looking forward into. I've just the 2 years that I've been here, what are some of the ways, like, have I really changed? Like, has this place really changed me? Like, am I still the person I used to be, or are things changing? Oh, thank you so very much for being here. I really do appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So I was thinking, like, my network today is not so good, but I hope you guys can hear me. So I've been thinking, like, have I really changed? Like, personal evaluation, like, has this place really changed me? And am I still the same way I used to be back in the days? And to say that I am still the same way I used to be back in the days, I'll be lying, because I believe human beings do go constantly through a process of evolution, like we evolve, kinda, if I remember my classes very well in the past. Yeah, I think we constantly go through a process of evolution where we ditch things we used to know, or somehow maybe we outgrow some stages, and then we start doing things differently, or start having different perspectives of certain things and stuff like that. So, and I think that's where I've come. That's where I've reached at the moment. So I wanted to share with you guys. And if you want to join me, and if you feel like you can relate also, please feel free to join the stream. Maybe you're living in Kenya, or maybe you're living in your own country, but there are things that have been changing in your life, or things that you're doing differently. It's just kind of like a self evaluation, or a way in which a place have kind of changed your lifestyle or something like that. So yeah, it's kind of just for me today, I'm just doing like a reevaluation of 2 years. 2 years in a different place, like, have I really changed? And if you feel like you want to join and have a conversation with me, please feel free to join. Thank you so much, Florence, for being here. Really do appreciate you. By the way, guys, Nyagas has a YouTube channel. If you can, please feel free to join and check out what they have in their channel as well. Richie Roger as well has live. Usually does YouTube live sometimes, and sometimes also puts content on YouTube. It's a place that it's happening there. Like, if you want to know about everything happening around the world, you need to hook up there. Like, you need to check out Richie Roger and see the podcast. Okay. Mostly there's one on Fridays, which is always like the place you want to be on Fridays. Yeah. So please feel free to also let me know if you have a YouTube channel, so I can give you a shout out and connect with you as well. So, one, I think the first thing that has changed is, for me, the many things that I took for granted when we lived in Kenya, and that included, like, just the, what is it called? The ability to just call home and say, you know what, mom, I just need you to be here right now. Like, my life, I need to get my stuff together. I need to get like, I need to get my life together. I just need you home. Like, I need you to come and visit and stuff. And she'd always come, of course, and take care of the children and everything, and just I have a breather when she's home. And I think one factor was the fact that it was always close. It's very close. Like, she can tell me, like, I'll be here tomorrow, or see you on Saturday and stuff like that. And coming here and being here right now, I just miss my mother. Like, I really do. And I know some of you say, like, why don't you have her over? But then there's also the part where I have to plan and then have her over or go and visit her. And yeah, it's not an easy thing to plan. Yeah, so I think that is something I really took for granted in the past. And currently I'm just like, I need you. Let me. Yeah. So I think for me, I took relationships really for granted. Um, Especially the fact, like, it's kind of like you value the fact that she's able to come all the time, but because you're used to knowing that she's always going to be there for you, you're kind of just like, ah, mom will always come, I just need to call home and my mom will be here. And now I'm just like, we need to plan it. Like, it can't happen right now, it can't happen on Saturday. And yeah, that kind of breaks my heart. But yeah, so I think now I have really really appreciated the bonds and the connections I've made between me and other people. Like, I do not take relationships for granted. I do call my mom, like, we speak every day. Even today, we have sent each other messages and stuff. I told her I was going for an exam and stuff like that. But the the value in which I have for friendship and relationships this day have really, really changed. Like, I take everyone in my life seriously, like with high regards. Like, I'm just like, I appreciate you for being here, including you who's watching right now. I really appreciate you for being here. Yeah, so I think for me in the past, I took some things, small things that people do to make me happy, like my mom being able to come and take care of the kids for some days, my brothers being able to come and take care of the kids for some days, and I'll just be like, who am going to breathe, that is something I really took for granted because I felt like, they're family and that's what family does for you. But having moved here, much as I do have family, and of course I can also call on them, but it's not like they also people here live like a different lifestyle. Like, it's not like you're just going to call and say, you know what, I want to bugger off to today I'll just use any word that comes to my mind. Today I'm going to bugger off to for holidays, like maybe in a different other town, please come stay with the kids. And I can't do that, but I have to like plan in advance. You understand? Like, it's something that I have to plan with them and they have to put on their timetable. Like, they can't just drop their things every now and then just be like, we're here. And it's also kind of respectful to do the same. But yeah, I really feel today I felt so guilty for having not taken. I did. Like, I really appreciated her presence and her just being able to come. Even my house help. I did appreciate her. But then I feel like if someone would give me a stay in house help or even a day back house help right now who comes every day, cleans my house and takes care of everything, I'll just worship. Like, if worship was the word to use, I'll treat them the best. But I treated my house help the best, I'm sure. We still get in touch, but I think I would just like be like, I'll give you anything you want. Even if you want to move in with your family, please come. Yeah, but I feel like that is one thing that this place has taught me to embrace the little help you get. Like, my family, when they come here, I'm just like, oh, thank you so much. Like, thank you. That's like a lifetime favor. But it's not like they expect to be paid back. It's kind of like, we know you deserve the rest. But yeah, so I think even to my mom, like, from now henceforth, or from the day I realized that henceforth, I'm just like, thank you so much for being a mother to my children as well. Like, when I feel like I need to go somewhere and rest or be somewhere, I don't need to think a lot into, I need to book for a nanny, I need to have them come and check out, what is it called? Sit with the kids for some time before we leave. It's a lot of planning that goes along with having holidays or just short time away from home. And it's close to impossible most of the time. Like, these days I feel like I'm more attached to my children, and if I want to go somewhere, I want to carry them along with me. And then I also feel like i I would do with time away from home. But I think it's the fact that most of the time, if you have to hire someone, it's someone you have worked with before to feel really comfortable. And I know here many people, like almost everyone who does like these nanny jobs, are people who are trained, but there's still that trust ish, something that sits in my at the back of my mind somewhere. And I know they're trustable, of course, because you can always check out on them and stuff. But yeah, so that is something that I really currently these days do really appreciate, like just the relationships I've had around. The second thing, it has been self-sufficiency. And when it comes to self-sufficiency, like being able to execute tasks by myself without depending on someone, um, back at home. And I think this one, my life has changed like for the better. And even my regards to relationship, I think, has also changed for the better. So people are meeting now and will be meeting in future. Just a minute. Okay, I was calling for help. Hey Dama, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I need to write your name because you're new here. I'm meeting you for the first time, I think. I should check you guys out. Is that your channel name? I hope so. Dama and Andy. Just a minute. Yeah, so self-sufficiency has also been something for me, because at home back in Kenya, like if you need your washing machine to be fixed, you just go and the person who delivers it comes fix it up for you, and we take these services for granted a lot. Um, if you for example need, like if you buy something, like if you buy a couch, they'll bring it to your house. Here you have to pay extra for them to even assemble it and put it down for you. They'll just come and put the pieces down, then you have to read the instructions. Good thing the instructions are most of the time readable and something you can easily do by yourself, so it's kind of like also builds up your skill as an individual. But I felt like at home I was really lazy. Like I was this people who I'd call for my washing machine to be brought home. I remember they come, they assemble everything. The chairperson brings, they put it inside the house. Like if I bought anything that has to be assembled, the company that brings it had to assemble it for me. If my tap broke, I'll just be like, it was so easy to call because I think it was really affordable as well to just call and pay someone and get something done for you. And here you have to pay per hour on an hour, or it's not so cheap as well. So you're better off trying by yourself first. And if it fails, then you call for someone to help you out. So I've had like to learn how to manage a lot of things because when they slap you with the receipt, sometimes the invoice, sometimes you're just like, the invoice versus the work you saw them doing is like, the weighing scale is not balancing. You know what I'm saying? So I think I've really learned to become self-sufficient. Like if my husband is not, of course he does a lot of things, like I still, I'm really terrible at assembling things, but I have really tried to be able to also try and do stuff by myself, like assembling stuff and being able to depend on myself to do it, you understand, without having like to call outside for help or for someone to come and assemble them for me. Another thing I think have changed in my life, and you guys can also let me know, like, is it just me or is it me being extra, like, or were we living, am I living a different like if it's stuff you can relate to, you can let me know. If it's stuff you cannot relate to, you can also let me know. I know some of the things my husband is like, we do that all the time, but I'm just like, no, at home we pay, like, why do you need to do your gardening by yourself when you can have someone do it for you and very affordably, and even offer them extra? Buy them lunch and offer them extras and tell them, no, I'll see you the next time the weeds grow. But here it's like, you're better off actually having gardening as a hobby for yourself, as much as the people who really need the job, and I know that. And but then hiring someone all the time is close to impossible. Like you can't have your garden. I mean, if you're not having a good job, like if I'd say it's something I have to do by myself, I'm not in a capacity to do that like every now and then. Like, no, it's not possible. But yeah, so those are some of the things that I feel like coming here, I'm like, ooh, wow, okay. Hey, Manuela, how are you doing, girl? How are you? How was your day? Happy Tuesday. It feels like Friday. I don't know why. Maybe because I had a rough morning, but yeah. What feels like a Friday? How is your Tuesday? And also, I think because imagine it's dark already in Finland. Winter is here. I'm also doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I need to, after this, go to the gym and work out, and then come home. later. But so far, so good. After my morning, which was really a little bit hard, just a tiny little bit hard. I always I always give like I like put a lot of effort into things that I do. And so when kind of things try to challenge you a little bit, I'm just like, why? Like I worked so hard for this. Like, yeah. But I give it still my best shot. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we pass again. But we I can't say. I can't say. So it has to be definitely like when the results come, we'll know when we get there. When we get there. For now, I'll just say I've done my best, and that's all I can say, you know. But I had a good day. And clearly, as you can see, that kind of shook me a little bit. But yeah, let's finger cross and say, you know what, we make it. Oh, I love gym. Like I do. Um Last winter I used to run, and it was really hard to run like all the time because you need the grip on your shoes, you need to put like the studs and stuff. It's a little bit of a task because sometimes when there's new snow, then you kind of it's hard to juggle. So I thought, and also just for your chest, winters are really cold here, like -10 sometimes. So it's not kind of, people do winter running sometimes for fun or maybe even skiing, but I felt like it was really hard for me to do so. So I enrolled myself to a gym 1 year. Fixed term. So I know I'll have to go to the gym. There's no being lazy. So you should try that. Put yourself in an agreement that you cannot break out of, and then you're done. You just have to go. But on that note, I felt like in Kenya we have a lot of, once you pay for the gym, you can always like call your trainer and say, you know what, come train me every day for a very affordable amount. And here I was like, wow, to get a personal trainer, I have to pay that much. Yeah, so I'm kind of just winging it and going back to the classes I had with my former trainer and doing that. Of course, they give you like a one-off consultation for free, but it's never enough. It's never enough. You know what I'm saying? It's never enough. Yeah. And then another thing I think these days, compared to back in the days when I used to be in Kenya, I've really begun to have like, you need to put yourself onto that 1 year fixed term without like having to stop. That way, you will have to go, like when you think you are going to do the payment and not go to the gym, it will be like, no, I have to go. So, yeah, mine is kind of like a pinch in my pocket. So, I have to just go. Like the winter body must winter itself. There's no looking back. It must obey, it must winter itself. So, yeah, try that. And that can also be your motivation buddy. Like I can always check out on you and say, hey, are you going to the gym? Did you go? Are you going? Yeah. I need some commitment partners. So, like I was saying, I think another thing that has changed in my life since moving here has been the valley. No, I love my space. Like, I used to be in this place where I would have like people over all the time. Um, I'd 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 just be like, you wanna have some company come over, or let's go do this and let's go do this. But I think since coming, and because of that, it gets so busy within around you, becomes so busy because one, I'm a mom, and then two, if you add friendships and having people like around you all the time, then you kind of always are with people, so you don't have like time to just have that zen in your own space. And I feel like since coming here, this has been something I've really appreciated, because I felt like at some point it had really become really toxic for me. Toxic in a way that you kind of meet people every day and you don't have time to be yourself, so that's my brother talking to my son anyway. Richie Roger, Ilal Kanye, Dakaneni a YouTube Katinde. Richie is always on YouTube. Like I think last Friday, Richie, were you live on last Friday? Were you live last Friday? I don't remember seeing you last Friday, but the Friday before last Friday, I saw you on YouTube. But Manuela, I hope Richie akwapata tujibu. Yeah, so for me these days, I've really loved and valued the space around me. Like I've made it in a way that everything is comfortable for me. And I've noticed these days I don't do things for other people because I don't the people who come to my house are people I really love and appreciate in my space. And these days I'm opening up to having friends and stuff, but they're friends that I know we share the same beliefs and same stuff. Like I have a mom friend, our friendship is like very nice. So I've opened up my place for relationships and people that I value, and I've created my space in a way that I love it. Still creating because we just moved and I've not finished like remaking the whole place the way I want it. But being in a new home right now, I'm still, of course, getting things together. But I've really, these days, I think I make everything in place the way I like it for me. You understand? Like, it's not like, oh, my friends will come and then they'll have to say this. Not that before I used to give a hoot onto what friends do have to say about your space and stuff, because at the end of the day, it's your money that bought everything. But you kind of always have like, you always ask like, oh, what do you think about this and stuff like that. So I think these days I'm more like that makes me happy, that makes me happy. Like this day I'm just about chasing my own happiness and loving my own space, so that, and staying in my lane, of course, as well. Staying in my lane is something I really love doing these days. Like, yeah, gives me a lot of peace, and I love that becomes drama free. So, yeah, I think loving my own space has been something I did not do much than I do it right now. Right now, I think I have a lot of value for my space, my family. Not that I've never valued my family, but I've always valued them. But now it's like deeper, it's deeper and tighter. And yeah, I think also just being able to live together for once, the happily ever after, has been like my dream ever since, because our relationship has most of the time been long distance relationship, and now just having everyone home is just like, I want to hold on to this forever. So that has been something that I really, yeah, have really began to love and really embraced a lot. Um, Another one would be to do with the environment. So Finland naturally has a way that things are done. So, for example, here there's recycling, and a lot of times back at home, you know you should recycle, and we tried to recycle as much as we could. We lived in a place where we had like a one-stop recycling center, which was at Westgate, but you had to walk like about 10 to 15 minutes to Westgate to put your bottles in the recycling bin. And that made it not intentional, because much as we tried, it would be like, why do I have to go all the way to Westgate to recycle a bottle? And sometimes we try and take them, but sometimes we failed taking them. But does not mean I did not care for the environment. I did, but it was just the convenience of the recycling place that was really really hard to reach. So coming here, where, and back at home we had like one plastic bag where you basically put all your trash and then you put them in the bin, and then they'll do recycling from there once it's been collected. And sometimes I really seriously do doubt if they do like handle every waste like separately, because we put all the waste together, or if they ever were interested in recycling. I'm not sure still. I've seen like some places where waste management is being done, some places where waste management is not being done, and the harm to the environment, I clearly do know right now. But since coming here, I think Finland naturally, when you go to the bin area, there's always a place for metals, place for glasses, motherhood catching up with me. Okay, so um, I never knew like if we. No, I was back to saying about Finland. So in Finland, you have like places. So here in Finland, sorry, I was trying to, raise my mom voice to my kids down there. So here in Finland, we have this system where, um, okay, call Adrian for me. We have this system where you put glasses in one place, you put your plastic in one place, you put your lids, which are metal, in one place, and you have a place for mixed waste, which is basically diapers, and maybe if your kettle breaks down or something, and then we have biodegradable. So basically, we have places for every waste. You have a place for it, and these days I'm like so keen on making sure that every waste goes into the right place. And I think another thing, much as fast fashion is something here and clothes are really affordable compared to home, I've made it intentional that when I buy clothes is something that I need, or I'm replacing, or what I have I'm going to hand over to someone else. So I'm trying to buy stuff that I know are things that I need. And that's why I think mostly I don't. I know I do. I definitely be doing some fashion vlogs, maybe no videos, maybe in future, but not now. But there'll be intentionally, what is it called, like I'm very intentional on what I want to buy and what I need, other than just buying and then throwing out. Because again, I think I've one way or another become more aware of where the products end up being in. And some will say like, oh, just it never matters. But I think for me, as of now, when you look at how the world is changing and how pollution is affecting everything, I know it's very lame to say like climate change is affecting us, because it is, but some people don't believe it. But I'm just trying to do what I can on my side. So I try and make sure that I put things to recycle where things to recycle should be placed. If I have clothes that I can still be used, I do take them to, for example, Red Cross and stuff like that, for to be repurposed into something that someone else can also use them. And shoes, so I don't just end up throwing everything in the bin. I do, if it's something that is still in a usable condition, I take it to where I know to be appreciated. And on the same note, I've really become, what is it called? And I've really began to entertain the idea of hand me down, because I think when you moved here, then this is the first thing. So back at home, sometimes it felt like if someone was to give you something, you'd kind of give them a side eye, like when you're not say, like, how have you seen me? Like some people would accept it with clean hearts, people who don't have. And then if someone else gave you a hand me down, unless it's something sentimental like your mom and stuff like that, it kind of was like, do you think I can't afford it and stuff like that? But I think coming here, knowing that sometimes winter clothes can really be expensive, like really expensive, expensive as 100 euros going up. So I've really, within my family, we have like people, we are spaced down with children. So we have like people who have older children and then younger children to younger than my children. So if I have something that I'm not using and I know is of value, instead of throwing it away, I give it to someone who's having a child behind me to use it. So for example, my kids have things that their cousins have worn, their cousins here have worn, and there's no problem. Like for me, that idea has now naturally become a second nature. Like if I need to buy something, I'm like, can you check your outgrown stuff and see if you have, it's kind of like a house shopping, not in a shopping mall. Can you check if you have like a warm like winter jacket or something like that to hand over? And if they don't have, that's when I now consider going to buy it as a second thing. And I know, like, to us Africans, it comes like, hey, you're broke. But I don't know, like, it's something I've really begun to appreciate. so much because there are things you need, and kids do grow out of things like really fast. Sometimes it will be just a cloth they'll have to wear for only this winter, and then next winter you're buying a new one. So I feel like the idea of handing over is really nice because the same clothes stays within the family for a long time before before it can be called old and out of use or out of purpose. So that is something that has really become a second nature to me, especially when it comes to children. For myself, I think adults normally don't have a lot to hand down because you buy things that you need, or also taste or fashion and stuff like that. But I think when it comes to children, I'm that hand me down kind of chick. I'll be like, have your kids grown out of something? I need, your shop to help me buy, or your shop to deliver me some clothes. Hey, Vera Case, some winter jackets here because it's cold. And yeah, if there isn't, then we go shopping. If there is, then we buy within the family for free. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I really do appreciate this. Like, I do appreciate you guys so much for being here. Thank you for keeping me company. Really appreciate that. Layla is saying makes sense, but what about for the newborn babies? For the newborn babies, okay, wait a minute. Because my baby's first winter clothes are still in a good shape. And that is why I'm telling you we do like this hand-me-down thing, because like right now I don't have a baby, but I bought a lot of things for my baby when I was still in Kenya, and some of the things we even brought here, which was really, I think, useful, but then ended up not being so useful in the long run. And what we do basically is, when I came here, when my kids were outgrowing stuff, and actually I did not have to ask, my family brought me clothes. So they knew like the ages, and then everyone just came with it was kind of like a welcome package. So every one of them came with stuff. So before I went to buy winter stuff, I already had stuff to choose from the things that I had been brought for. So the things that I have right now, I'm handing them over to the ones who have children right now. So because Daniel is already now 2, headed to 3, so the things that he is outgrown, I'm handing over to the younger ones who are having children. So when they have to buy, they buy less. They don't have to buy everything. Because for me, things like babies and things like my kids at this age, apart from Adrian and Matthew, Daniel grows out of things without them having like been totally destroyed. So the best thing to do is hand them down. And even when Adrian, for example, mostly he's a footballer. So all his clothes get torn on the knees. So it means trousers are meant for him. I usually say. And then his sweaters and jumpers and stuff can be handed over to Matthew. And then when Matthew outgrows stuff, he hands over to Daniel. And if Daniel grows out of them, then I hand them over to the rest of the family. Or sometimes as well, you'd find someone is just above Matthew, just a little bit younger than Matthew. So I'd hand them over to someone a little bit younger than Matthew, so they're able to use it. And then when Daniel needs stuff, then someone will be handing over. So we have like moms in my own family. We have like we're a big family, but we're spread. So when someone is visiting, they'll be like, you know what? I actually have this stuff that I'm not using. And when I'm also visiting, I'll be like, you know what? I have this stuff I'm not using. So we kind of interchange items between us, the family members. So it kind of feels like saves money and takes off the stress of I need to go shopping. And even if you have to shop, it's not much. You end up buying less. Guys, can you imagine? It's like dark outside. Anyway, so that is something we do. So I'd say if you're having winter clothes, especially like winter clothes, they basically grow them so quickly, and they're still like in good shape. Look for someone or a new mom, someone becoming a new mom next to you, and you can hand it over to them but ask them first, because some cultures also don't like hand me down idea. But I think in Finland, someone would appreciate them, considering winter clothes are really expensive. Like, they're not affordable. They're not really affordable. Um, I look forward to visiting Finland next summer. Summer is so beautiful here. And winter also is beautiful, much as it's really cold. I think Finland generally has beauty in every season. So I'd say it depends if you love cold, but cold can be really harsh. Like I remember the first time here, my first winter, I felt like someone just, like it was that feeling like someone gave you a slap on your cheek, and it's like it hurts so badly, and I was like teary, and it's not like I was warm, but my face was just like, it's like someone has given you a whack on your face and you just like, ouch, that hurts. Yeah, but with good creams, heavy creams, it does work. So you can enjoy Finland anytime, but summer is the perfect time to travel to Finland. So can't wait to hear you're here. When you come, please do say hello. I know here it really gets so busy, but I think somehow people still meet somehow. The universe makes it that we meet one way or another. So if you happen to be here, let me know. New, inexperienced parents tend to like to buy new clothing just because they enjoy shopping, and having a baby is so new experience for them. Have you experienced that? Yes, I have. Um, when I used to be in Kenya, I loved shopping. Like I really loved shopping. And for me, like even being a mom of three, I still could not keep my hands off the store, because sometimes there are things you already have, but then the fashion is fast growing and everything comes in and it's so beautiful, and kids' clothes are so cute. And you just want to like be at par with whatever trend is coming up and stuff like that. And then we moved here, and I think the first time moving here, it was a big adjustment we had to do. We were coming in a place where we had to utilize what we had saved, eat what like really spend what we had saved, and as we looked for jobs. So it was a big adjustment to do. And out of that, when my family brought me like items and stuff, I was like, wow, I can actually save on clothes. I don't have to buy other clothes. It wasn't like really like a tight budget, but it kind of makes you think like it takes a long time sometimes to find a job. And we did not have a job immediately we moved here. No, we did. Actually, my husband was working in Iraq, and Iraq was so unsafe. I wanted my husband back in anyway, so it meant I had to utilize the income we're making very well, and also practice saving. So when I could receive anything for free, I was like, wow, like you bring it. When you're not using it, bring it over. And when I'm not using it, I'll take it over to you. So that is when I started attaining this thing, like everything that is in the shop, I don't have to buy it. Like I don't have to be part of the fast fashion. So these days it's still ticklish. Yes, sometimes I do buy, but I don't buy a lot. Like I do buy what they need and not what they want, or not what I want. I buy what we need. Like much as the financial pressure is not there anymore, I'm still very cautious into like, do I really need it? Like, is it is it is it something they really need, or it's something I'm just buying because I want? Because truth be said, kids don't choose. Like, I mean, mine sometimes do, when they love things like dinosaurs and stuff. And thank God, when the hand me down sometimes comes, they have some things they love, sometimes they don't. So you can buy things that they really need out of the store, and not things that they don't need. Yeah. And for me, that has been something that like I said, I've had to change, because now my idea of hand me down is not like, oh, you see me as a poor person. It's like, oh, that's actually, you've eased my financial burden, not burden really, but yeah, for lack of a better word, financial burden. You've eased it down, because if I had to buy that, I put that money into something else, and it makes my life easy. So for me, hand me down, I don't see it anymore as, do you think I'm poor? I see it as like, if I'm not using it, I'll hand it down to someone else. And if it basically, we basically go like this. Yeah, that's how we go. So it goes, clothes go down to, if you're not using, hand it down. If you're not using, hand it down. And then we start climbing again, back again, up with the cousins. So that's what we do. And of course we still buy, but not as much as we used to before. uh Richie is saying, Manuela, don't get me wait. Sorry, Richie, Manuela, I think should check you out and catch up with you. How do you send the clothes back home? Because here in Europe, very few take secondhand used items, clothes used you can take to the charity shop. For me, sending back at home has not been something possible, but it's something I'm really looking forward to doing because, for example, myself, I basically the same size as my mom. So if I can hand down to her, like for example, like warm winter jackets, I would do it. And also in my house, we've always had like extra people living in. So if I can hand over the clothes to them, then that would be a really nice thing. But I've not been able to figure out the cost and how people do it. Not yet. I've heard of a friend of mine who said that her and the wife always, with other friends, collectively hire a container and they send everything back home, and her parents are able to sell or give out during Christmas. But he comes from Zambia, so for me that is something I'm not able to do at the moment, or I have not had like friends that we can hire a container together with. So it's something I really would consider if I have a lot of things to give out, then I would send them because it will be cost saving. Alternatively, what I've been doing personally is I take them to the Red Cross, for example. They usually sell and then they give it off to charity. At the same time, there are shops where you can sell, you can give, and then they sell, or sometimes they allow you to give them and they pay you a little bit of money. So it depends. So basically, that's what I do. But I've not been able to send anything home yet. Not at the moment, no. The stuff I would love to send, but no. I've had a furniture where I had to like give back because I wasn't using it anymore. It pains to give it back or at a lower price, but I couldn't give it at a lower price. It was really hard to find a market. So we took it for recycling and I'm sure it found a good home, but it's something I would send home. Not like my mom needs it, but yeah. And our mom, I think also sometimes you send stuff and they'll just keep, I don't know, maybe they'll hand it over or keep a lot of it, like this be a no, like I would send something she does not have, something like that, or maybe send clothes mostly. Furnitures, I think my mom is sorted for now, yeah. So yeah, and also like it's more affordable to buy furniture back at home than to send it over to Kenya, I think so. Yeah, actually, I think so because furnitures are really, I don't know, IKEA stuff are really affordable. Yes, I would say. But I think still in Kenya, you find a good material of wood and materials to make your furniture out of, and it's so affordable than custom making something here in Finland. Like it's close to impossible. Um, yeah, I think so. So I'd rather buy from there if it's something she needs, especially if it's furniture and stuff. I'd rather buy from there, get it made, designed for me the way I want it. And then she's able to, it's able to be delivered and stuff, then send pieces and then they have to be assembled. It's a lot of work for her. But when it comes to clothes, I've not yet been able to send yet. Yeah. And I feel like okay, the reason why I'm saying she does not need it right now, when we were moving here, we did not have enough time to sell things that we had, for example. So everything that I had, basically I packed my house and gave it and send it to, I packed my house basically with the whole house, not the whole house, like the house itself, like the building. No, I packed everything I owned and gave it to my mother. So she had to deal with, put away what she does not need, take away what she has that she does not need, and then, rearrange a little bit. So that's what we did. So for clothes, I've not yet been able to figure out how to hire a whole container to send stuff home, but it's something I'd look forward to doing in future. But for now, I think what I do most is recycling and giving off to charity. They do take. Sometimes they pay, sometimes they don't. But for me, it's better than having a clutter, like a lot of clothes. I cannot function when there's a lot of junk around me. Like I just cannot. I'm those people who I want to go to bed unless my kitchen is clean. I want to go to bed if I know I stepped on some sand somewhere. It's something that I'm kind of just like that. So I cannot function if I know my closet is full of clothes that I don't wear. So for me, it's easier for me to take things that are still in good shape to the recycling place than to keep them in the house. So I keep it as a habit. So I've had to narrow down on, do I need it? Do I not need it? In goes, in comes, out goes. So I'm trying to make that so intentional in a way that I don't end up having things that I'm not using around me. Yeah. Uh just for you to tip, I guess it's new mom problems because that's so for me. Yeah, I can relate with that. I have overshopped and now she's outgrown all of them and I don't have anyone to hand them to. Oh my gosh. Maybe you just give them to charity, but it's a problem I can relate to. I can really relate to that. I remember when Matthew was young, and one, I was very financially capable and we bought a lot of stuff. And for me, the good thing that happened was I lived back at home and the house helps that I had children or grandchildren. So every time they went for holidays, I would always like, give them, and then they would, and I even had like even extra diapers, sometimes they outgrow one size, you don't know what to do with it. Your house help has a baby, you give it. And that's also something like that is something that these days I really do miss a lot. Because if my children had a lot of clothes and I called her auntie was going back home, I'd take the stuff because most of the time, for me, I've only in my entire motherhood had two house helps who have been with me for years. I've never stayed without a house help, but I've only had two house helps only my entire motherhood journey. So the two of them, one had children and another had children and grandchildren. So every time they were traveling home or going to visit their families, I'd always give them the baby stuff that they need. And I always ask them, like, Auntie, if you need some stuff, take it. And good thing they're really faithful in a way that you could trust they'll take what their children need and ask you for other items without stealing. So it was very easy to get rid of waste like that, like repurpose it to give it to someone else who needs it. Here, I know it can really be tricky because if you're not in a family, in a big family, like large family like mine, then most of the time the things that you have, you really don't know where to take them to. So that would be really tricky. But maybe give them to charity for free if you can. It's better than keeping them at home. Store what you can because if it's your first child, you might have your second one. And that's another mistake people sometimes do. Sometimes, most of the time, and for me, I would advise like any mom here, mostly it's good to buy also things that only suit the gender of your current baby, but sometimes also good to buy unisex items so you're able to reuse them when you have another baby. So for example, if you have one child and you look forward to having more in future, you can keep something like the baby bed, for example, and the baby blankets. And if you're buying the baby bed and the baby blankets, you can buy materials that are unisex, like color neutral, that they can easily be handed over to the next gender if you're color conscious. Some people, like my husband, it's like it's just a baby and colors are beautiful. For me, I'm just like boys need this color and girls need this color, so we tend to be on the neutral side. um and that way it kind of helps you with the next coming baby. They're laughing, I thought they're crying and they're shouting. Okay, but it's fine. We're continuing. Yeah, so I would say if you can buy gender neutral stuff, then it's easy to keep things like bed and beddings, for example, and some clothes because you never know. Maybe you get to have another girl in future if you plan to have one, or you get to have another boy, but you can still reuse the bed and stuff. So don't be overwhelmed a lot with the stuff that you have bought. Look into what would you repurpose to reuse in future if the future is to come, and store them in your storage area. I see all of the buildings mostly have like a storage unit. So things that you don't use now, you can store them in your storage area and then use them in future if that time comes. And who knows, maybe along the way you get to have friends. So you can keep some sentimental things to you, or things you think that can be reused by another gender if you have another child. Um, if you care to see, like, or if you want, like, every child has their own, that's also well and good. You can recycle, give out what you. Okay, those are my kids. Yeah, so you can you can give to, for example, Red Cross what you're not using, but I would highly suggest if you can check into the whole of the. I know at this time when they have outgrown everything, it becomes really overwhelming to choose what to keep and what not to keep. But take your time, look at it, and I'm sure you'll find something that you can really reuse in future and keep them, like beds and beddings. And then in future, when you have another baby, you can easily just, hand it over to the next baby. So I think that would be really nice. And maybe along the way, you get to have, like, you get to have friends who you can easily give some things. So that would be really nice as well. I love how you differentiate between need and want. Thank you so much. I think it's a journey that I've had to learn for myself. And yeah, so for me, for example, I think need and want is something I never uh, paid attention to when I used to live back at home, because one, the friends I had, we never knew how to differentiate between need and want. Two, financially, we were really in a good place. So need and want, I think Kenyan standard of lifestyle, we were really in a good place. So need and want was something I never had to pay attention to. Um, until we were not planning to move to Finland, actually, until we landed in Finland. Then my husband was away, and I told you that adjusting, trying to adjust, because I really wanted my husband to stop working in Iraq. It was not safe. And we needed to make sure that we are financially capable of living until he finds the next job. So it took me to be aware of what we need and what we want to be able to make the transition easy. And that's how we managed, and we were able to have a very smooth transition. And it was not easy. Trust me, when you're starting to pay attention to need and want for the first time, it's not an easy thing, especially if shopping is something you do as a second nature, like me. It's not an easy thing. So it has to be something you intentionally choose to say, you know what, today I need one, two, three. Following the list is really hard, but sometimes I try. I'm still learning as well. I'm not perfect at it, because I get tempted, and sometimes I'm like, I just bought it. Like, for example, today I have a vase, right? And I guess I had to do something. And for me, shopping makes me happy. So it's like, I need to go and find a good vase to have. And I went and bought a new vase, but I think I need another vase. So it was a good purchase, but did I really need it? No, I wanted it. So yeah, it's a journey. I think you just have to learn slowly, and also be gentle and kind with yourself when you have a lot that you don't use and stuff. Yeah. Um, just for you to be saying, have you learned what most of us have been through? Later, you still might find out how problematic youth fashion can be. I need to know that. I need to know that. Oh, currently I'm dealing with my son just turned 10. And we're in this stage where we need to look good and we need to look cute. And I think he also takes a lot from me, because I'm kind of just like, wear your makeup, dress on nicely, dress good for you. So he's in that place, and I don't blame him. So now he's like more aware of fashion and what he wants to wear and the type of shoes he wants to put on. And something I'm really appreciating. But now I understand how fashion, how it falls for you. Tell us more about how rough it was for you, or how easy it was for you. Let me know. I'd really love to hear. it's not unusual that parents want to keep the first clothes their children had, hoarding them for decades. I think this is something my mom did. I personally have not, I don't know. No, I think I still do. I have blankets from my first child to my second child and to my last one. Three blankets that I think I always just, I'm like, if I need something to cover myself, I'll cover myself with this. And they're also so cozy. And it's not like don't it's not like I need them, like I need to use them because I have stuff that I can really use, but I'm just like, mm, I just want to hold on to them. My mom kept we I grew up in this time when diapers, I think, what, I don't know if they were there maybe, but they were really like something for when you need to go somewhere. But what I got to see is my mom had like nappies, nappies, like the cloth nappies, and she had a lot of them and they're all white and the liners. And when I had my first child, my mom was like, this, finally, it's the perfect time to hand them to you. And I thought that that was so sentimental and so pure and so good to know that she kept each and every child's clothes up to when I had my own and my brothers until when they have their own children. I'm like, wow, it's so sentimental. And I never saw it like that before. When we used to talk like, Mom, when are you going to hold on to these nappies? We had like this, um, what is it called? Brick face? Like this that had like codes. They're like the old fashioned one, like kind of boxed and not the same as the ones we have currently. And every child, my mom kept like all of our sentimental, like at least 10 pieces. Actually, mine was like 20 pieces, 20 pieces of diapers, 20 pieces of nappies, and the very clothes that she loved so much. So she kept them in one, every child with their own briefcase or suitcase. No, they're called briefcase. And when I had my first child, she handed them over to me. And I felt like that was so sentimental. And I was like, Mom, you don't have to. But then these days I'm like, wow. And then when my mother-in-law sent me my husband's stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, like you still keep even toys. So I would say if you don't have use for them right now, you can, if you have a storage unit, you can keep them and have them for your grandchildren, because right now we have like this Playmobil which my husband played with when he was a child, and it's still in a very good condition, and now my kids are playing with it. And so that is just how, and the material is even better than the Playmobiles you find right now. So for me, I would say, when you keep things, the quality of things that are being bought, because toys are never cheap. And again, I think something we parents always forget to do is talk about toys. We spend a lot of money on toys, and I think on my next blog, I'm also going to show you my struggle with toys and buying kids things. um, Kids, for example, my children, we buy Legos and we have other toys as well. And we also are in a passion for tanks. And also because I come from a military background and my husband as well. And we have like this we model things. So modeling for us has been something like a second passion for my children as well, because for me, I found it as a learning adventure. They get to see the numbers, they get to try and fix and make pieces and make it into something whole. So be it a house, we buy like small pieces and then they have to attach it together with glues and stuff, cut it, shape it, connect it, tanks, cut, connect. It's a lot of pieces. We have like these soldiers, like the German soldiers and stuff. And so they have to like model from hand to head to what, and each soldier has a different color. So for me, it has been a learning thing. But I felt like the investment we've made in toys is such in a way that these are things that we are able to, even myself, I find joy in playing with them, because they're toys that are not just because they're children. Like they're things that they're able to either hand over or use when they grow up. So that is something that I've also been cautious in doing. Yeah, so if you're a mom, I think toys can also be an investment, something you can always sell and get money out of, or something you can And actually, we have toys that sometimes you just need to give a little bit of a touch and sell it at a very expensive rate. So that can also, for us, sometimes we buy toys to use as investment. We're smart. So yeah, sometimes we buy toys and use them as investments because they're things you can buy. For example, we are passionate about model railways, and train pieces sometimes you find as much as 80, 100 euros, and this is just like one piece. And that piece, if you go and refurbish it in future and sell it, you could be selling it at 200, who knows. So yeah, that's something I think we should all try and do, something we're learning to do and manage. But yeah, I think it would be a nice thing for everyone to try. Very good advice. Thank you so very much, Vera Keys. The sexiest view of boy and girl colors is so funny. Strange cultural baggage most people have. That's very true. For me, I think I've always been in this belief of colors. And these days, I'm realizing actually it has nothing to do with the baby's sex. You know, the baby just needs to be clothed and that's it. But still, I'm like, I have boys, I can't be buying pink. And my husband is like, they are all colors. My husband, when he goes to buy undies for the boys, he'll go like, the younger ones especially, like Adrian like knows, like him, he's like, let's go to the shop, you go and choose what you want to get for yourself, because I have to make him feel comfortable in what he wears. Sometimes of course I shop for him, but mostly he chooses, so we kind of negotiate on, this take, this don't, this take, this don't. I'll be just realistic. My younger one, my husband some last time came with a pink underwear, and I'm like, we have a boy. You bought a pink underwear. He's like, yeah, it's just an underwear. Like it was in the boys section. So I guess color is something we just put too much in our minds, but kids love it. My son loves bright colors, and I feel like it's not a bad thing just because he's a boy and he loves bright colors. I feel like boys can also be bright in their color choices as well as girls can also be bright or dull in their color choices. So for me, it's what suits them that we get. But it's such a funny thing. I agree. It's such a funny thing. Very good topic, Nelly. I'm loving the benefit of the advice. Thank you so much, Verakis, for always also your support as well. Someone is calling for Mama's attention. I know, right? Their dad is right there, and they're all home. So, and I'm this parent who we only have one TV. So that's where the tug of war happens. Everyone wants to watch a different program. I banned phones and tablets for everyone. It's not working. It wasn't. I think screen time is something right now I have controlled, I would say. So we have time when they can watch, and then time when they get to read, and time when they get to paint or play or do stuff. But we have really reduced the amount of time the kids get to spend on TV. So when I'm doing this, the best way to distract them is by watching, and everyone wants to watch a different thing, and it's only one TV. I notice when I give them the laptop, everyone they know now how to open like different tabs and then minimize the screen so they have like three things showing, and I'm like, what type of confusion are you cooking in your brain? So yeah, so these days when I'm going live, or rather they make noise, but I know they're watching from the TV. It's a controlled um, environment. And also aside from that, they get to watch one thing and learn how to, live with each other without killing each other, without fighting each other. I mean, I have three boys who are more or less the same age. So not the same age, but see each other as the same age. So yeah. And also, I think screen time is something that, wow, it really affects a lot of us parents, intentionally or unintentionally, because sometimes you just want the kids quiet, you just want the house quiet. And then you give everyone, and then everyone is just like, I feel like I got tired of that, because sometimes you're like calling and no one is responding. Everyone is just glued on their screen. So these days, initially we chose not to buy a TV because we thought, every child has a phone. Not every child has a phone. Matthew had my husband's old phone, and Adrian, we bought for Adrian his own phone. And then So Matthew and Daniel would share, or Daniel would use the laptop. We have laptops. If me and my husband, we have an extra laptop as well. So we have three laptops. So the younger one will use the laptop sometimes, and then the two would use their phones. And he's like, hand me down. Adrian only has a new phone. So I'm not like the parent who goes to the shop and buy. It's not bad to buy as well. But then I realized the side effect of that. So we then decided 2 months ago to buy a TV. And now the phones are only when the kids are away in school, for example. Like Adrian, if he needs to call me and tell me, you know what, I'm going to play with my friends, I'm coming back at this time, or I need to call him and say, hey, you're still playing and it's home time. So that's when, yeah. So then I give the phone. But I know outside the house, he might be also naughty, like use the phone when it's not time to use the phone. But I know in school they don't use the phone a lot, they use the computer. So it gives me peace to send him out with it. And if there's anything, you can always call me. Matthew only gets to see his once in a while, which sometimes happens in a weekend or sometimes never happens. So I'm the one who keeps it a lot of times. And then Daniel also uses the TV. So they have to all try and live together as brothers sharing one screen. So that's what we're doing. Um, I guess at home we never consider saving. I found myself here and it was my wake up call. That is so true. I think at home, something I struggled with is saving, like I'd mentioned before. And I just wanted to buy. Like, if I went to the shop and saw something cute, I bought. One reason was because every time my mom visited, I would give her things I'm not using. So, in a way, I had a place to take it to. Um, but I was so keen on what's new, what can I get? Every time I went, I saw something cute, I'd take it. I came here and I noticed I cannot, my mom is not here to come and take what I'm not using, because she has a lot of people to give them to if she's not using them. So for me, my mom was like someone, and in between me and the community. My mom, she loves giving and she has a lot of, she likes to help. So if she goes visiting someone who does not have place, she'd go and take a set and give them. So I felt like I wasted in a good way, because it kind of helped someone at the end of the day. But I wasted a lot of money trying to buy stuff that I did not need. So coming here, I realized if I have a set of plates, unless they break, they're just looking at me. And I am those people who like everything stored in the right place. So if I run out of space to store them, it's kind of like we are having a problem. So these days, I try and be like, I buy things that are worth it. Like, if I have to save to get something, then it's something that I know is of value to me or has a good value to it, that it's not something that I'm going to use and then within a few days it's damaged or faded or something like that. And then that way I don't have much. So, like, for example, one thing I would say, I really I'm like pat on the back that I've really been able to do. I have 4 sets of plates. Is it four? Three. I have no 4. I have 4 sets of plates. I suck at not seeing something cute and not buying it. Like, I really, sometimes I'm just like, my hands are itchy, I need to get it. My hands are itchy, I need to get it. But I think for me right now, having 4 is something I'm like, wow. Like, before, be having like 10, and some are in the box, not used. And it's not like I have like visitors coming to visit, like a lot of them that I'll need like 10 sets of plates and stuff like that. So yeah, but again, I had somewhere to take them, so they never look like a lot. There'll be a lot in one time, and then when my mom comes, I'll be like, you know what, take these and you can gift people if you don't need, and if you need, you can have them. But now I'm just like, I don't need it, I don't get it. I don't need it, I don't get it. Of course, I get like my cute post that I need once in a while, just like thank me thing, because yeah, for me, when it comes to food, I have to eat in a plate that I like to be able to enjoy my meal. So yeah, that's something. But again, I've noticed I have a taste of style when it comes to dishes and plates. So there's something that I love, and if I love that, then I definitely love it for a long time. So yeah, I've been able to reduce it in that way. Just 42 saying, to be saying, there can be must-have brands which everyone has, or else you become an exemption. young people can be insecure about themselves and they think you need to follow trends to be accepted. I think that's something that still affects even someone like me at the moment. Um, it's weird to say, but actually, I don't own a Louis Vuitton bag. I don't own a Louis Vuitton shoe. And I'm so free to say them. There are things that I've really seen and I'm like, I really want, like, but is it one I know very much. I do not like branded, like things that shout brands, but they're so cute. And then there are things that people are unboxing and loving, and you see boxes everywhere, and I'm just like, I need it. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, do I really need it? Like, yeah, something like that. So I think even myself, I understand the pressure my son is on right now because he's in this place where it's the new game that you need to buy, and it's the new this, and I need to be like this, I need to look like this. It's all like kind of like trying to catch up with the current trends. And it's not something, it's just you. I'm just like, calm down. You don't really need it. It's here. It's whatever. For example, I used Android. Then this is not shameful to say. I used Android for the longest time. And I'm not saying for the media. You were never on iPhone before? I used Android for a long time. And even my laptop, I used Acer and what is this other brand for a long time. And then I was like, "Ah, this time I must graduate. Like I must, and because I felt like I missed out on things like there's this group on what is it called, where people have chats and stuff like that. And I felt like people would always talk about let me find the name. I know it. Just a minute. This is how tech not so trendy I am. But I know it. I know it. I know it. It happens. Yeah, Clubhouse. I was never in Clubhouse for a long time. One, because I never had like an iPhone, and I noticed with my Android I was not able to connect. And then I was like, I had a very useful conversations happening on Clubhouse. And so far, I've only been able to join two. So then I'm like, I didn't really need it. I got myself an iPhone because I needed to join Clubhouse. And then now I'm like, but good thing my phone was lost. So I had a reason to buy a new phone, right? But then I was still giving pressure to my husband, like, I need an iPhone, I need an iPhone. Now you need to buy me an iPhone. And then I got an iPhone and I was like, I need to have Clubhouse. And then now I'm on Clubhouse. I don't see anything that kind of resonates with what I love that I cannot find on YouTube or cannot find on Instagram and stuff. So yeah. And for me, I feel like you can never catch up with fashion. Like fashion is always one step ahead. So right now I have this iPhone, which I don't know is which iPhone number type. I think I actually don't. Could be the one before 12 and 13. And I was buying it saying this is good because it's something that's new, because I had with time they kind of slow down and stuff like that. And then now I have this one and there's a 13. So how can you catch up? Like this cost money. And then the other ones are also more expensive. So if you can't get it, get it. If you can't, don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. That's what I would say. Be realistic. I think for me, where I am right now, I'm more of like trying to be realistic with things that I need and things that I do not need. For example, um, I realize I'm not going to own an iPhone 13 for a long time because do I need it? No. I have three kids who need like different things. So it's just how you weigh your responsibilities and how your finances are able to fit your responsibilities and stuff. For me right now, instead of buying an iPhone 13 until this phone gets destroyed or not working, I'm definitely not having another phone. And I'd rather save to buy a car. So yeah, instead of buying on credit is an option, but rather save and buy a car, or save and we get out ourselves a summer cottage or something like that. So yeah, Yeah, so when it comes to brands, I think for me has been the iPhone. I've not been able to keep up with the trend. Of course, I just started and I'm like, it's going too fast, I can't catch up. And things like Louis Vuitton bags, designer clothes and designer bags. Like generally I buy what I can afford and what I can find. Um, Hey Rose, how are you? Nice to see you here. And guys as well, Rose also has a YouTube channel. Please, please, if you can follow her, that would be really nice. She's a social worker and she shares a lot about life, lifestyle advice, travel as well, a lot of good stuff. So please do follow. Um, the viewing distance is also something to be aware of, since looking at a tiny mobile displays is more difficult on the kids' eyes, I think, on the eyes. And that's very true because sometimes for me personally, when you watch a lot, you tend to have headaches. And I was being told by one of the doctor friend that, it affects the eyes as well for the children because it's kind of like you have to strain into this small screen and stuff. So that is something we have really, I say, we've been totally able to cut off or reduce almost completely. So yeah. Another thing, like I was saying, is money management. We're talking about how my life has changed, and that is money management as well. And that this comes in hand with having told you that there are things that I don't own yet. Maybe I might own them in the future, but in terms of things that I need, like I don't mind like a nice scarf or a nice pair of shoe, but unless it's something that I feel like is really of need to me right now, I feel like right now my mind and my money and my focus is on summer house, summer cottage and stuff. So I feel like every purchase I'm making, my dream to for us owning a summer cottage is one step away. Not that it's bad to spoil yourself, but I think that is where I am at the moment. So yeah. And again, I think this is something that has really had to change for me because here, whether you wear designer clothes or not designer clothes, like no one gives a hoot. Like no one does. I know at home it kind of like, wow, you are the one. Like you got it all going together. But here, like whether you wear designer or not, like it's just a normal day. It's just a normal day. I mean, it looks cool, it looks beautiful on someone, but it's just a normal thing. So it doesn't make me feel like I'm lacking on something, and it doesn't make me feel like I really need to have it right now. So yeah, and also if I really need to have it right now, I'm not able to catch up with the trends and all of them. That is, and this is like just from a realistic opinion of mine. Like this is me, and yeah, that is what I'm saying. Um, Another thing, and this again is on money management. So back at home in Kenya, we did not own a car. So what we used to do most of the time is my son would go to school on a taxi because school bus was mostly not so reliable, and then I would use taxi like each and every day. I took at least two taxis to go somewhere and to come back. Like I had to take taxi, and one was because I felt like the matachos was so mostly the loud music I did not like, and we did not like as well. My husband has this thing about noise and kids. He does not also fancy that. So we opted for taking taxis as a means of transport. And every day we ended up using taxis, unless it's a walking distance, then we'd walk. But if we had to go like to church, to shopping mall, and come back with the shopping, we basically depended on taxis. When I moved here, and I had to sit down and reevaluate my budget. I was like, taxi is a one because the transport system here is so convenient and it's comfortable, and no one is going to be making noise on your ears with loud music and stuff like that. Not that I don't appreciate it, I do. Like I do like to be in a bus and feel like I'm in a club. It's really a nice feeling. But it's something I did not like for my children because then one, the control of the music you get to hear in the bus was just never easy to control. Sometimes they'll be like, bend over. And those are things I do not want my kids to hear. Like, even if they have to hear, let them hear because I cannot control what they get to hear, but not because I was in a bus. Mm-mm. No, I could not do that to my children. So here, no one is going to sing bend over in the bus. Or even if they do, they're listening to it from their own earphones. So I feel like the transport system is really convenient and on time as well. And because of that, I don't see why I need to take a taxi, unless, of course, I have an emergency or I need to be in a place or I just need to be in a hurry and the bus has gone. Then I'll take a taxi. So I need to take a taxi if I need to take a taxi. Yeah. But that said, another thing that has changed in my life since moving to Finland has definitely had to be the time. Oh my gosh. Like, guys, I cannot even begin to explain to you guys. Here, my family calls and will say, and it's something really nice because they've had to keep me like on check. Like I'm always like, I was late last time, I'll be early today, I'll be early next time. Because the first time I was invited for lunch, and my husband had already told me about this, but I took my longest to go. And when I went, lunch was already on the table. And they waited. They told me they waited 20 minutes before putting lunch on the table. And then they called me and they were like, the food is getting cold. And my family, they don't have like microwave that will say, most of them don't have microwaves that will say they're just going to warm. So it comes from the oven and from the stove to the table. It's eaten, it's done, lunch is over. So they'll always call and say, we'll be having lunch at 12, because yeah, we have lunch at 12. So they say, we'll be having lunch at 12. We're hoping to host you at 12 o'clock. Come at 12:30, my dear friend. If you move to Finland, if you're told 12, show up at 11:40, 11:35, 11:40. Then you catch up with lunch. Show up at 1, lunch is over. If they didn't call you back to remind you they're putting it on the table, lunchtime is done. Food is done. People are done eating. And you'd look so weird and awkward eating by yourself because it was supposed to be something to be done together. So the first time I was really late for lunch, and I got there and people were already eating because they called and were like, we're almost, and here there's no like traffic. So if you book to leave the house at 8:30 and you check the buses or you took a taxi, you're meant to be there on time. If you took too long to get ready, and especially if you're a mom, you have to like keep planning, like planning. So the first time I was late. The second time I was like, I was like just a little bit late, like people had just started eating. And then these days I'm like, when I'm invited, I'm on time. Like, I don't want to have that awkward moment of eating when people are done eating, or joining dinner lunch when people are like done and gone, or these awkward moments of you just arriving and removing your jacket, and especially winter can embarrass you. During winter people layer clothes, and when you get in the house, you don't just remove your jacket and go and sit. You have to remove the first layer, and then the second layer, then the third, and then maybe the fourth, and then you go and sit down. So you imagine removing 5 clothes and then removing for your children. Well, people are like awkwardly, you put them in an awkward place of trying to think, do we continue eating or do we help out with the children? And then you've taken someone off their foot to come and help you out. It's so weird. Like, it really is so weird. So that is something these days I'm just like, if it's on time, I'm there 10 minutes before, even with school. And also, when it comes to time, I've noticed as well, things like dental appointments. If you miss the appointment, if you go to the appointment, the money you have to pay is less. If you miss the appointment, yes.
I want some. I want the beamer with some chocolate
Yeah, my son wants Pima. So that's what I've been told here. Yeah. So I think for me these days, okay, I was back to what I was explaining. If you miss an appointment, you pay more than actually getting the service itself. So these days I'm like, show up on time, because imagine going to a dental appointment, you might be charged like 20 euros, or um or just more than that, or just less than that, a little bit less. If you miss the appointment, you get to pay 50 euros or 60. Like, make it make sense. Like, why do you have to be late? So yeah, that is something for me. I'm just like, on time. Nelly, you have to be on time. My husband wakes me up like so early and make sure that I'm out of bed, because the temptation of snagging back in and sleeping is so easy. So these days I'm just like, on time, Nelly, on time. You have to be on time. Yeah. Or you get to have the pay by having the awkward moments of showing, like, being weird when people are like already settled and doing stuff. And yeah, because here again there's like time. So when you're invited for a party, for example, they give you the timetable of what is going to be happening at what specific time. They'll stick to it. Back at home, when you're invited to a party, when you're invited at 1 to a party, you go at 2, because otherwise, who wants to cook? You're not invited to cook, you're invited to enjoy the party. So when you go at 1, you'll just be there by yourself. Here, when you're invited at 1, please show up 10 minutes before 1. It's only better for you and saves you the embarrassment as well. Um, that I think I'd read. Thank you so much for that. I don't really like Apple corporate culture, and therefore haven't bought an Apple product in this century. Do you vote? Do you vote with your wallet? This, I think, is a tricky one. I have fallen tempted. I've been tempted, and now I'd say I'm in the Apple thing. I don't like the way they try and control like everything you want. Like, you have to get it within Apple stuff. I think aside from the, what is it called? The application. What application is it? Aside from like editing, and aside from music, you can get from Apple. Um, Fitness, I actually am using an Android app, Fitness, on my thing, but I don't like the way they just try and centralize everything. Like, you always, it's like one, all under one roof. Like, you can get from them. No, I don't fancy it. But I would say, it's, having bought it right now, do I regret it? Yes, because I was still doing okay with my Android. Like, I don't see what I really missed a lot. I bought this because I was looking into Clubhouse, but is there really much conversation I really miss on Clubhouse? No, not really. It's always good to keep on what's happening around, but was it worth it? I don't think so. And now I have the temptation of, oh, there's now the 13. Like, come on, make it make sense. And then MacBook, I needed it because my laptop was breaking down, and I needed something just for myself. So we treated ourselves. I was treated to one. Um, of course, I justified the reason as to why I needed it to my husband, but that's how cute it is. So he got me one. And did I really, really needed it? Yes, I did needed a new laptop, but not necessarily a MacBook. So yeah, I'm just trying to evaluate. And if you're thinking right now you're succumbing to some pressure you should not be, could be, my confessions can be your savior to not committing your money where it does not belong, or not buying something that you don't really need. Hot food will wait for no one. Definitely. I love that. Just for YouTube, do you own a microwave? I've worked in my family's homes, in my family's houses or homes. There's no microwave. Like, it's always warm prepared meal and a salad on the side. If you want to have anything warm, show up on time. If you don't show up on time, you end up just being by yourself. So ah, African time, we left in our respective airports. We'll be picking up our habits back in our way home. For me, that this is something I was just like, yes and yes and yes to that. Timekeeping, I think that's when I told myself, welcome to Europe. Seriously. That's when I was like, wow. But definitely looking forward to picking it up when I get to the airport. Definitely. Definitely. Because no one gets to charge. Imagine at home, I used to go to a private hospital, for example. If I showed up 10 minutes after time, they still take me in. Here, they'll be like, you've missed your appointment and you get charged for that. I'm just like, if you cannot show up to time, you are costing yourself a lot of money out of your pocket. So, yeah, three layers should be enough for a functional point of view. Yes, I over exaggerated that, I must say. To my knowledge, Clubhouse has been available also on Android. I think currently, yes. Currently, yes, but I was less informed when I got it. So I thought only if I have, and but actually, again, when I had my Android, I tried logging into Clubhouse. I wasn't able to. So when I was getting this one, Clubhouse was still not available on Android. But I think now you're able to join. So I joined because I bought because I needed that, but I don't regret it anyway. It's a nice thing. I mean, it's a good thing. Um, Yeah, and another thing I think now I've embraced a lot is love for nature. Like naturally, I used to love nature when I was a child, and this is because I grew up around forests and we played in the forest and stuff. We live both in the city and in the village. In the village, we had like the nature itself, like a lot to dwell in. It was a lot, it was beautiful, and would fetch firewood from there, would play and hide and seek in there, would do a lot of things in the forest. And even our homes were covered with forest. You didn't need back then like fancy, wall bricked fences. And then I think growing up and also moving to urban areas, they then became lesser the forest culture because it's just building to building to building to building. And it's such in a way that even every building has, don't mind my kids shouting. I don't know what's really happening there, but they're with their dad, they're safe. They're okay. Yeah. So also coming in a culture where so also coming in a culture where homes, for example, have like gate man and fence, and there's the watchman there asking you where you're going to or guarding the place and stuff like that. Coming here was a big shock because they're close to no fences. Like there are some homes that are like, like fenced and gated, but there are really less of them in Finland, like not too many of them. And so these days, to have this rule of forests is for everyone's use, I'm just like, wow, you can go and run in there. You don't have to pay. Some of the forests we have, you have to pay an entrance fee to enter. It's not a lot, but you still have to pay. So it means it's not accessible to everyone unless you're able to afford it. So that is something that I have really loved a lot about Finland, for example. The fact that the forest is for everyone and you can go and use it anytime. You can go run, you can camp in there, you cannot cut it though. Yeah, you can't cut it, but you can go and enjoy the forest. You can sunbathe in the forest without anyone, if you find a nice place to sunbathe without anyone interrupting you and stuff. So these days, just having that zen morning of me in nature has been something I've really embraced a lot. And I would say it's something living here, I think, have reminded me of the childhood memory that I had. I feel like this time is brought down the younger me that I really lost back then when we moved to urban areas and stuff like that. So that way I would say Finland has changed me for the better. Um wow. Those are only good things I've mentioned. Hmm. They mentioned one negative thing that my life has changed. I think since moving to Finland, I've become more of an introvert. I'm not an extrovert anymore. I used to be really an extrovert person. I think because of comfort of people, you're more familiar with the environment, you know everything around the place, you know the law, you know the rules, you know the people, you know how to talk to them even if you don't know them. Being too familiar with home, I was really an extrovert person, like really an extrovert. Like when I say an extrovert, like I was really an extrovert. Like if I was in a place, I'm there. These days, I'm like so quiet and like so laid back than before. So there is something that I would say has changed on not so negative but negative side. So yeah, these days I think much as I've never had like too many people around me, or I'm not like more of a party, but still, you'd always know when I'm in a place. Like you definitely would know. I was loud. I love to talk and stuff. But these days, I think being in a position where you know the language, but you still have that inch of doubt within yourself, like how can I just try? Do I not? I rather not engage. Maybe they'll go so fast, or not so fast really, but maybe I'd want to say something and then I can't just bring up the words right now. And I'm in this place where I have a mix of language thing cooking in my mind, where I have my German has just decided to wake up lately. My Swahili has just decided I'm here to stay. My English is also messing up with the same good thing. And then I have my mother tongue. So sometimes I'm talking to my mom, and my mom is like, I did not understand what you said. And I'm like, sorry, mom, it's a slip of another one. So I have like this language porridge cooking in my head, which I know will clear out with time, because right now I'm using Finnish more, my mother tongue, and my language, my like mother tongue, like my mother's mother tongue, and then our country's mother tongue, which is Swahili and Finnish. So probably the German will slowly get back at the back of my head, but at the moment it's still a big porridge. We're just cooking it slowly. Yeah. So that is, I think, for me, one thing that has changed in a negative way coming here, which I would say it's not something I really did not need. I really needed that, introverted me to be to represent me in this point in time, because it's a new place, it's a new environment. Been here for 2 years, but clearly there are things I'm still learning, there are things I still don't know about. So it's impossible to be an extrovert unless you already feel like it's like home. And it's, yes, it's home, but the language aspect, there's still that second doubt that comes to my mind, like every time you go out and stuff. It's like you know the words you need to say, but you're just like, are they going to come out the way I want them to? Am I really going to speak them the way? And Finnish is so hard. It's not like you're going to arrange the words in English in your mind and then translate them into Finnish and say them, because then they don't even sound like they make sense. It's, you cannot translate like word to word and say, I can't come up with a word right now, but yeah, it's, if you know, you know. Hey Taras, how are you, Taras? Thank you so much for being here. How was work? How was your day today? It's a new rollout. Yes, I would say iPhone 13 now is here. Like I'm just like, it's a good thing. Like if you're a trend keeper, if you're a trend setter, it's really a nice thing, but it's not for me. Manila is saying Richiro Zaano Kawiti, Kobiro Abiro, Koro Abiro Keto notification on Osiepa Tuko Pamoja. Okay. Manila is saying he is here with you, Richiro. I hope Richie is still here. Yeah, guys. So those are some of the ways. If you have questions, ask. But those are some of the ways that I think my life has changed since moving to Finland. I think for most part, it's fair to say in a positive way than in a negative way. Um, I don't know. I can't see any negative one. Yeah, I can't see any negative one. And I think one thing I've loved is or the negative thing, another one, it's truly hard to make friends in Finland But like I mentioned last time, you can find it's easier to make friends if you have a hobby point. You can meet with people, then it's easier to make friends. So, for example, right now in the gym, I have a gym friend. He love They love to go to the gym. I go to the gym, so it's kind of like a common interest kind of thing. Or also, if you love running, you can meet people on running places. If you have hobbies, it's easier to meet people. But naturally, considering the way this place is, the way people are here, it's really hard to make friends. Um, Before Corona, it was much more easier to make friends because the events and you get to meet people. These days, with social distancing and you don't want people around you, and even if you're meeting, it's not so natural environment. You have your mask on. I think it's been really hard to make friends in that way, but I somehow is managing through the people I'm currently meeting. I think one person actually advised me just for YouTube. I think the last time I was talking about this was like, you know what, you can look for someone who is like a mom and you can do momming things together, and if that really works. So that is something I've really, and the hobby thing. So one thing I think is really affected me in this place is I love to have friends, but I think a good number of friends, a useful amount of friends is good. So I have now a useful amount of friends, but I must say it's really hard to make friends in Finland considering people are not so um, people are not so like warm and wild. People are more like warm and cozy in their houses, and everyone just loves their own space. So yeah, in that way, I think it's been really close to what is it said? Close to not so impossible, possible to make friends, if that makes sense. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I think ways that Finland has changed me. And I think for most part, it's for the better. And yeah, I just wanted to come in here and share with you guys and let you know that sometimes life changes for the best and change is good as well. It's not like everything, it's like a complaining or whining kind of stage, but some things have changed for the better. Some things have changed not to be rechanged again. Um, People grow and life is constantly evolving. So I think I'm really glad that I've been able to figure out that these are the ways that my life has been able to change in the last 2 years. And that's really nice. I think sometimes self evaluation is really nice. So if you're watching this after the stream is over, let me know ways in which your life has changed ever since you noticed some changes. Or maybe it could be a change because of age, could be a change because of something you have had to go through, could be a change because of environment, could be a change because of a relationship. Just any change. Like, have you sat down and reevaluated how your life has changed? If there's any way your life has changed, I would really love to know that in the comments section. And if there isn't, that would also be nice. But I felt like some self evaluation was really a nice thing. Seems obvious you're missing several things, but not all of that has very much to do with Finland. Yes, definitely not. Not much of it has anything to do with Finland. Just most of it has to do with the fact that we all come from a place, and we all come from a place, and that place somehow, I usually say I am because they were. And so for me, that is like when it comes to family. I have, of course, my second family here, which is my husband's family, but does not replace my family. So those are some of the things that I do miss a lot. I wish distance was something you can just snap your finger and close, but it's impossible again. But it's life. People change, people move, but it's all changed in a good way, I would say, not in any negative way. Yeah. Aside from, I'd still want to be an extrovert, but I think I love the me right now. The introvert me right now, I just love my small corner, my small family, my my life the way it is right now. I really do love that than being just out there. And yeah, that is a nice thing. So yeah, let me know how your life has changed, if there's any change, if some of the things I've mentioned are relatable to you. If they're not, also feel free to let me know. And this was really nice. This was really fun because I think we all need to reevaluate sometime. Like you can't just grow and say you're just going without taking a pause and saying like, how did I live last year and how am I living this year? And was last year's life worth living this year? Or should I change some things? Should I adjust some things? Should I change my opinion on certain things? And I think that's a really important thing. So yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys up on the comment section. For now, this was really so much fun. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for being here with me and always showing up. I really do appreciate you. And again, like I said, these live streams have been something that I've been able to connect with you guys. Like, I feel like just 42 Tube has become a friend lately. Taras has become a friend. Manuela is a friend. Leila is a friend. Like, I see you guys as friends that I have here on social media. So on this space called YouTube. So it's kind of like catching up with my friends. So this has really been nice and I really appreciate it as well. Yeah. And I guess the miss that I have at home, I got it here on social media where the numbers of friends I had there, now I have them in here somehow. So it's really nice. But yeah, again, this was really fun. I enjoyed this and I hope you did as well. I'll catch you guys in the comment section and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Sorry, guys. StreamYard just cut me off again. I think it's my network or something. So this was really nice. I think it's time now to go. Have dinner, put the kids down to bed, and I'll see you guys soon. Love you guys and bye. Have a nice one. Bye, guys. And I hope Wednesday has everything good it has to give because Tuesday was somehow amazing with you guys. Okay, love you. Bye bye. Bye.